It's Saturday morning, and that means it's time for Spartan Nation TV. With me, your host, Hondo Carpenter from SpartanNation.com. Joined by the Duckett Dynasty, legendary Michigan State and NFL running backs, Tico and TJ Duckett. Now, it's time for Spartan Nation TV. Good morning. Welcome back to Spartan Nation TV. I'm your host, Hondo Carpenter, along with legendary, stupendous, terrific, great guys, Michigan State and NFL running backs, Tico and TJ Duckett. Yes, today the Spartans are playing Purdue in West Lafayette, but we're not going to get away from last week. Let's throw the first question of the week out to TJ Duckett just to make Tico mad. TJ, they say a win is a win is a win. But was last Saturday a win, or did the Spartans take a step back?
A win is a win. No matter any time you win, you have to honor that. But to try to move forward, to reach a goal and get better is the question. And we didn't finish this game getting better.
Tico.
Sure.
They were playing to me not to lose rather than to win in the fourth quarter.
And you're absolutely right. Typically, Coach, these teams do that. You know, when they get ahead, they don't put their foot on the pedal, and that's exactly what they did last week.
The mantra at Michigan State, you two have heard it your whole life, comes from George Perlis's they all count one. TJ, in a playoff situation where now that's how the season ends, where Michigan State wins and still gets jumped by multiple teams when four in front of them lost, is that sentiment true anymore?
It's a different day and age of the evaluating teams. The computer system is different. When this game started last week, it was we're back. We have a chance to impress the judges or impress the voters. By the end of the game, that whole everything we did, all the impressions that were positive impressions, they didn't matter. We absolutely went backwards in that second half, and that's been the story.
Exactly. If we were basing it on the first half, we probably would have jumped up higher. But once they saw the second half and how we didn't really, I don't want to say had the heart, but as we couldn't finish the game, I think it dropped us.
7 teams now ahead of Michigan State in the AP poll, Tico. The point of the matter is, based on who all they have to play, 5 of them are going to lose.
Sure.
So that means Michigan State's going to be in the top 4 of the poll. But quite frankly, with them not going for style points, with them not finishing games strong, a lot of season left. But if it continues like we saw Saturday, that's not a good sign.
Well, you know, the team, the coaches have to understand what we're playing for, a national champion. It's just not to win a game. It's just not to impress the home crowd or the Spartan fans. It's the national championships. And until we understand the style points, we're not going to get there.
And I hate the fact that we're talking about style points in football. I mean, you should be able to go and win whether it's 100 points or 1 point, and the team that's obviously better should be able to be there. But nowadays, you have to put up 60 points and be fancy, and you have to do all these things, and I just don't agree with that particular point.
But with the college football playoff being set now by a committee, it's not done by a computer, it's not done by bowls, guys. You know as well as anyone else. I did an interview on ESPN, and they were telling me about, talk about what happened in Oregon with Michigan State getting blown out. And I said to the guy interviewing me, did you watch the game? Because they didn't get blown out. But you can't watch them all, TJ.
Yeah, and is it consistency? Is it the most points? But you go out and you play the game. I mean, you can have a hard-nosed team that every day they go out and they win by 1 point, 2 points. But they're consistent. Does that make them worse than a team that is putting up big numbers? That's where I don't understand.
Well, I think it goes back to we're not used to 77-0 or 66-0. But in the past, Florida State, Alabama, those guys have been doing that for years.
Mark Hollis came out and said he was embarrassed. Well, and it certainly gave implications. Embarrassed by the student section leaving. Guys, I think there's a big miss here. Michigan State's administration has made the decision to go for international students because they pay the most money in tuition. We've all been there. When you bring people not tied in, I think that affects attendance. We'll get into that later in the show. We'll be back by talking about the side of the ball that disgusted me on Saturday, the offense.
MSU Federal Credit Union is a proud supporter of Michigan State University athletics.
On or off the court.
MSU Federal Credit Union
supports my team.
My team.
My team.
My team. And we just wanted to say thanks.
Thank you, MSU FCU.
Thanks.
Thank you.
This segment of Spartan Nation TV is brought to you by our good friends at Simple Tee Printing and Embroidery. We make shirts and we give back. Good morning, welcome back to Spartan Nation TV. I'm your host, Hondo Carpenter. I take our first question and I go to you, Tico Duckett. The Michigan State offense scored 27 points. It was a pathetic performance. The fourth quarter was horrible. Michigan State, Mark D'Antoni admitted at 27-3, he thought the knockout punch had been delivered. When I pressed him on the issue, he said he told the coaches to run. Connor Cook did not play well. I thought it was pathetic. Your thoughts?
My thoughts as well. I mean, we have a high-powered offense, and we have a great quarterback, great receivers, great running backs, and to see the performance that we put on last week is embarrassing.
TJ, you know, I've been to thousands of press conferences, many of them with you in there. NFL, pro, basketball, all of them. Connor Cook said after the game this, quote, "I got comfortable. I thought we had it," unquote. Now, I love Connor, and I honor him for being honest and admitting that. That takes brass, and I respect that. But when your star quarterback says that, and the coach says, "I told him to run the ball," that's concerning.
I will say from to get some pressure off the coaches, let's just say, as a player, you're supposed to do your job. If they say, let's run the football, then make sure you get 9 yards of carry. Don't settle for 1 yard. Don't settle for 2 yards. So for Connor Cook to say, I relax, that's when you turn it up. I mean, you have a team that is already wobbling, that's about to fall. You throw the knockout punch, and now if you can completely run the ball, if that is, with the game over, and you're getting 5, 10 yards of carry, you're pushing their defense down into the ground, and you're gaining momentum. That's what it's all about. That's the truth of a champion team.
Very good point. 3 turnovers, though, is not acceptable. Dave Warner, I do not hold him, the offensive coordinator, responsible for the fourth quarter play calling when Mark D'Antonio says run the ball. That's his boss. But I am going to hold him accountable to Nick Hill's in the game, who's a very small guy. We did not see Delton Williams even play.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to tell you, I know this for a fact. There were some guys who get checks from Spartan football, that's their job, who were not happy with that, who were disgusted with that. I'm sorry, you're the offensive coordinator and the running backs coach. Delton Williams not getting any reps is unacceptable. And quite frankly, that's just, I mean, I can't even imagine an excuse.
Well, you know, I don't know what's going on there in the locker room, but when you get you're supposed to run the clock down and you have a big bruiser like Delton, then run him, you know? You'll get the yards, you'll get the first downs, and I bet we'll see a lot more of him today.
We have not on this show hesitated to praise Warner for his play calling this year, which has been excellent. But the fact that you're the running back coach and the rotation in the running backs isn't working, TJ, that's on him. We got to be honest.
It is on him, and that's a time now for us to, Williams is still a young back. Let's run the ball. Let's get him some experience. We've been playing all from the beginning of the season, getting people experience, getting people chances to play, and this is the time that, if anything, let's call him, he's the new closer, if you will. Sure. He's the guy that comes in, he turns up yardage, runs the clock down, beats up teams, and physically shows what type of football team we are.
Absolutely.
That's a great point. Jack Allen, great player. We all agree he's going to play in the NFL, but 2 personal fouls and gets ejected. You have to control your emotion.
Absolutely, and he was getting kind of manhandled a little bit up front, so he was getting frustrated. And you have to reel it in. You know, you have to reel it in, and he's a senior, so he should know better than that.
I personally, one was an aggressive move. It was, I mean, the play was over somewhat, but your lineman is downfield blocking.
Right.
That's a big deal.
Absolutely.
The other one, I mean, did he knee him in the face? Did he not knee him? I mean,
he tried to.
But the thing is, you could call that on every single play. If you really want to do something, you can call something to that magnitude.
I totally agree. Sure. But the point is, whether you like the rule or not, the ref made the right call because it's the rule, right or wrong.
I mean, it is, but again, every play that is possible.
I don't like speeding laws.
I mean, we playing in the game, every play you got something. Yeah. And the thing is, the coaches always tell you, watch your back to the whistle blows, keep your head on the swivel because you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all up and down, especially in that type of environment, a big game like that.
Sure.
I mentioned a moment ago about Mark Hollis. Obviously, he comes out on Twitter, talks about the fact they're going to have to reevaluate the student section. I have been calling for years that they need to shrink the zone at the Breslin Center, all those top seats that are empty. They need to shrink the student section at Spartan Stadium because when you show the crowd and it's completely empty, Unacceptable. Now, no one will go on the record at MSU and say this, but off the record, multiplicity of people will say Hollis has wanted to shrink it. The administration's not letting him. At what point do you say, hey, you guys go do whatever administrators do. Let the AD run it. It needs to be shrunk.
Well, absolutely. I mean, there's one thing about this. The students are used to us being ahead by a lot, so they're used to leaving. They don't understand that they're a big part of the game, and until we show them that we can really entertain them, then they're going to leave early every game.
TJ, you have been a student at Michigan State and a great athlete, so this question I think is more apropos for you and Tico than anyone. But I go a little bit of a different direction. The administration has taken a vast approach to wanting international students. All you have to do is go visit campus and you can clearly tell it's international student city now because they pay more. But when you bring in those kids that come from cultures that are not football cultures, then they go on and leave. Not only do I think it hurts you in immediacy with students, but these are not alumni who are going to stay in the state and become season ticket holders and donors, so it hurts your ticket base. I think part of this has to be these guys are customers. Don't admit that you're saying just run the ball, the game's in the bag. Keep them entertained. Where am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, again, the entertainment factor, we're talking professional athletes now. I mean, where you have to come in and entertain, but at the same time, with the new system, it's a business. This college football has become a business, and we have to honor the business factor of it.
Absolutely, and I look at it too. I mean, everything is a business. Luana's a great business person. Mark Hollis is great. They just need to hand it over to Mark Hollis and let him do the magic that he's been doing for the past few years.
I would disagree with you about Luana being a good business person. I think she's a terrific politician. Let's go to the side that works, the defense, when we come back.
The right moves can win a game. The wrong move can take you out. Get off the sidelines and back in the game with world-class care from MSU Sports Medicine. Our team of physicians and specialists diagnose and treat athletic and performance injuries. We've expanded our care to include pediatric sports and injuries associated with dance and performing arts. Our team will get you back on track, whatever your game. Call MSU Sports Medicine at 884-6100.
Hi, I'm Kevin Whitkin, owner of Discount 1 Hour Signs. We've been proudly serving the Lansing area since 1979. We pride ourselves in producing the best signs at the best prices, fast. From traditional graphics, vehicle wraps, lighted signs, whatever your needs, we do it all. Remember, a business with no sign is a sign of no business. Discount Signs, Lansing's top sign shop since 1979.
This segment of Spartan Nation TV is brought to you by our good friends at the MSU Federal Credit Union, proud sponsors of MSU Athletics.
Good morning. Welcome back, Spartan Nation TV. I'm your host, Hondo Carpenter, with legendary Michigan State NFL running backs and two of the best dads you'll ever meet, TJ and Tico Duckett.
I'm Deezy. Deezy.
Hey, I don't like that because now I'm coaching the hockey game on Sunday night, and the players, what's up with Coach Deezy?
Coach Deezy.
I don't like it. Guys, I kind of do. All right, let's turn our attention to the defense. It works, but I'm going to be frank. I thought it was last year again. The defense had to bail them out. TJ?
Defense looked awesome. They actually were wrapping folks up. I mean, that's what I saw. It wasn't just throwing bodies, but they had to come through. I mean, defense wins championships. It's a proven fact. And our school, right, our football team is built from the defense up.
I did not think they could stop Amir, and they held him to 45
They
yards.
held him tremendously. I mean, they came focused. There was a mission, and they came in and fulfilled it. And I want Narduzzi, can we get him on offense a little bit? Because, I mean, the kids come to play, and they don't stop.
And I think that what happened that last week was a testament to the guys given a lot of playing time, a different rolling folks,
Sure.
The front seven. I think that's where it came in because no one got tired. And the defense played 4 quarters. And it was, I mean, I was very, very impressed by the defense.
But Bo comes out. We talked about it last week on the show after last year's loss to Michigan State and said, quote, we've run on them before, we're going to run on them again. That was the cover of our magazine, Spartan Nation magazine this month. I think Bo did a good job in motivating them too.
He did. Everyone did. I mean, all season so far, that has been the weakness. That has been the area that we've struggled. I mean, passing still, but in the running game. So that had to be a big focus, especially with 8 coming in there last week. And I mean, he has some numbers he put up the week before.
Absolutely. And you know what concerns me is finally when Bo decided not to run, they started passing and they were successful on us. So that worries me a little bit.
I think that's a great point. I think that, again, and I said it right here on the show last week, I thought Bo Pelini was going to cost them this game, and I think he did, Tico.
Well, he was trying to force the run. He was forcing it. It was gonna happen, and when he realized they were shut down, he switched gears and brought them back into the game.
I was amazed at how the defense swarmed. I mean, they were tackling. I mean, quarterbacks were trying to scramble. Before it was a miss, it was a roll, it was something, but they absolutely wrapped them up and made sure they didn't let them go.
Michigan State, 3 turnovers that gave Nebraska the ball in great field position, and they could not score. When your defense has their back, Tico.
Hey, very impressive. I mean, you have to win a national championship with this defense. So it's going to be up to this offense to kick it in gear because this defense is incredible.
How many times during that fourth quarter, TJ, did you say to yourself, why can't our offensive coaches have the mentality of Narduzzi?
You know, I during that fourth quarter, the whole entire stadium felt drained. Everything just felt drained until the defense ran on the field.
Right.
Once the defense ran on the field, everyone was almost like, okay, we got this. But when the offense was on the field, it was, please don't throw an interception, pick 6.
Sure.
Let's take care of the ball. There was a different energy there, and that's something that we had to.
It goes back to leadership, I think.
Yeah,
we don't have a leader on offense.
There's no one we can trust
There's
yet.
nobody that's, come on, guys, that's put, take it to them. We don't have anybody.
We talked a couple weeks ago about the fact all 3 of us at this table like Tawan Jones. He's a great kid.
Sure.
How awesome was it to see? That, to me, was an NFL performance by him at middle linebacker.
It was. I mean, the checks he was calling, the way he was attacked. I mean, he has completely became, in my opinion, our low-key stud on the defense that's taking control, telling players where to go, calling different checks, playing that chess game with the quarterback. He's fully embraced that role.
I also like how he's giving his body up. I mean, this guy, he is giving his body up. He's giving it 110%. You see him flying around out there, and I think he's coming to his own.
R.J. Williamson gets benched. They put in the freshman Monte Nicholson. Guys, I thought Monte played well.
Monte played very well, especially in the condition, the weather condition, the atmosphere. He played like a senior.
Interesting note here. Jeremy Langford, in my opinion, guys, I think he's a great kid. We all do. But he certainly has taken a step back from last year. I want to go back on the offense because of the defensive mentality we're talking about. Not playing Delton Williams, I think he is struggling because he's not having to compete and fight every week to keep his job. I wish the offensive coaches had the mentality of Narduzzi, compete all week. Your thoughts?
That is true. If you get comfortable, especially at the running back position, then you don't run as hard. It's just a different mentality. You bring a guy in whose hair's on fire, who's running, who every chance he gets the ball, he's trying to make something extra happen. Now that definitely limits your reps.
Well, we've both been in that situation when you're flip-flopping. You know that when it's just you could run the ball, get 4 yards, and say, I got 6 more to go. You come walk back. But when you know you run the ball and you can go to the bench, you're going to try to get that first down in your one run. You're going to try to score. So that's what's happening right now. Bring that competitiveness back.
But let's be honest. The two of you in college were not worried about getting benched your senior year.
No, it was a matter of who could score first, me or Highland, it was a matter of, exactly. Somebody was coming in relieving. It wasn't about not playing.
Well, I'm going to relieve them, and when we come back, we'll go to Purdue.
I bet you've got some dreams. My dreams drive my passion. To do what I love.
To make a difference by teaching others.
To make the world a greener and better place. To run my own business. To see where the road takes me.
MSU Federal Credit Union offers auto loans to help drive your dreams to reality.
We know you've got dreams. MSU FCU can help.
This segment of Spartan Nation TV is brought to you by our good friends at Message Makers. creators of experiences that transform.
Good morning, I'm your host, Hondeezy.
Hondeezy.
Joined by TJ and Tico Duckett. Look at that. All right, gentlemen, let's turn our attention to Purdue. Purdue has a problem. They don't realize they're Purdue. They get Joe Tiller, who had them in great bowl games. He had them competing for Big Ten titles. He wasn't good enough. They fired him. In comes Danny Hope, who I thought was a good coach. Lots of injuries, sustained a lot of problems. They got rid of him. Now they bring in Daryl Hazel, a builder, a Jim Tressel tree kind of guy. They're going to have to give him time, but these kids will fight the entire game, Tico.
Absolutely. They're going to come in, or we're going to come in down there, and they're going to be just like Nebraska. They're not going to give up. We have a big target on our back. They're going to try to run the ball on us. They're going to try everything possible. So this is a big game today.
Daryl Hazel is going to remind those kids, these are the defending Stanford team. They beat Stanford in the Rose Bowl, defending Big Ten champs. Top 10 in the country, we can make a statement here. They're not going to quit, are they, Tico?
Not at all. And to try to build the program, this is a great build the program type of notch in your hat if you win this one. You're able to now say we're headed in the right direction. You're able to say to recruits, we're able to beat the big teams. And for it to be a home game, it's a way to get the fans, the fan base on your side.
Tico, we saw the players admitted after Oregon they relaxed. Connor Cook said they got comfortable. Mark D'Antonio said, we thought we delivered the knockout. Let's run the ball. If Michigan State brings that mentality, they could lose this game because Purdue may not have the horses, but they've got the coaching.
They do. The point that we have to get the takeaway from last week. The takeaway lesson is going to be it was hell this week in practice, and I'm going to see an offense coming out fired up this week. We won't see that this week.
But TJ, after Oregon, I didn't think we'd see it again.
Well, we didn't have it. That was our first full game we had to play. I mean, we played one full game against Oregon. Then we played 2 quarters, maybe, in 2 games. And then we play Nebraska, and we have to go 4 quarters. I mean, there's not just a physical level. There's that emotional level. There's that high intensity that you have to have.
And to his credit, let me just say to all of you at home, TJ, to Tico and I, since the Oregon game, has been extremely critical, including the Jacksonville State game in private, saying, guys, I don't like us pulling our starters in the first half. This is not going to be easy. You called your shot on that one.
I mean, it's a mentality. I mean, anytime you're doing anything, if you only do it halfway, then you look, I mean, the score, we're up by 20 points now, and now it's, well, we're used to coming out the game. Coach, am I coming out? What's what we're doing? Instead of saying, let's make a statement, let's get better, let's continue to improve now and use this as that game.
The Spartans open up as a 21.5 favorite when Vegas gave the Lions on Sunday night. Were you shocked by that, Tico?
You know, no, simply because we do have a high-powered offense. We do have a fantastic defense. We do have good coaching. So it's just a matter of coming down to Purdue and taking care of business.
Were you personally, Tico, did that performance in the fourth quarter against Nebraska, TJ and I think have made it pretty clear. Were you as bothered by it?
I was, and it scares me because we get too confident, we sit back, we don't go for the jugular, and that's not going to get us a national championship.
Well, when we come back, I prove once again I can pick better than them, even though they look better than me.
The right moves can win a game. The wrong move can take you out. Get off the sidelines and back in the game with world-class care from MSU Sports Medicine. Our team of physicians and specialists diagnose and treat athletic and performance injuries. We've expanded our care to include pediatric sports and injuries associated with dance and performing arts. Our team will get you back on track, whatever your game. Call MSU Sports Medicine at 884-6100.
Hi, I'm Kevin Whitkin, owner of Discount 1 Hour Signs. We've been proudly serving the Lansing area since 1979. We pride ourselves in producing the best signs at the best prices, fast. From traditional graphics, vehicle wraps, lighted signs, whatever your needs, we do it all. Remember, a business with no sign is a sign of no business. Discount Signs, Lansing's top sign shop since 1979.
Spartan Nation TV is brought to you by our good friends at Video Vision 360, high-octane, in-the-action videography specializing in sports, entertainment, and adventure. And by Claudia Irish Pub. Claudia Irish Pub, home of the Guinness Perfect Pour.
We're the babes from Orchard Street, and you're watching Spartan Nation TV. Go Green! Go White! Woo!
This segment of Spartan Nation TV is brought to you by our good friends at Moneyball. Moneyball, it's the only way to ball.
Welcome back, Spartan Nation TV. The great TJ Duckett to my far right, former MSU and NFL great, first-round draft pick. The gentleman right next to me, the one who likes to fancy himself the prettiest one in the set, although his girlfriend does not think that. Tico Duckett, former New York Giant, former Michigan State great, of course, a terrific business owner here in mid-Michigan with Duckett Brothers Distributing.
Thanks, sir.
And I'm your host, Hondo Carpenter. Gentlemen, predictions. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go last.
You go last.
Tico, let's go to you.
Yep.
What's your score prediction for today?
You know, I think that Michigan State is going to take it out on Purdue today. They've been getting criticized all week. They've got a shellacking by coach all week. I'm going to say that we're going to see a 44-10 game, and Michigan State's going to control this game.
I'm going to say it's going to be 24-3. I think our defense is going to 100% continue the domination. But I'm understanding that our offense, we have to complete a game. If we can go out, I think we'll have early success. But I just kind of get worried towards the end of the game when we start to pull the reins back a little bit.
But we got to have those style points.
We got,
so 24 is just
we've been saying that for the years now. So
we got to have it.
We'll see.
I agree with both of them on two different points. I think Michigan State needs to come out and slam Purdue. However, Coach Hazel's a great coach, and with his ties to Jim Tressel and Mark D'Antonio, I just don't believe D'Antonio will run the score up on someone that comes from the same tree and technically the same family. It just isn't going to happen. It's not his mentality. I think the Spartans come in. I think the Michigan State defense is sound as always. They only give up 2 field goals, but the Spartan offense only scores 27 points. They don't cover the spread in Vegas. I think Michigan State is in danger, depending on what else happens today, of going backwards in the polls again, Tico.
Well, I hope not. You know, that's the point of coming in, putting the points up, you know, showing everyone that we're that national champion. So I don't think they'll go backwards.
TJ, after the Oregon game, I never thought we'd see them take their foot off the gas. I didn't, and that's why I made big predictions on scores, and I was right on those predictions. But after seeing it against Nebraska, if you can't bring that mentality of 4 quarters after what happened at Oregon against Nebraska, I'm moving to Missouri. You got to show me now.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the tale of our season. Our season, are we playing to win games or are we playing to play in the playoffs?
Tico, with this defense that the Spartans have, if they don't make it into the playoff, have they wasted it a second year in a row?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, this is one of the best defenses in the country.
5 seconds.
We're pretty good. We need to take advantage of defenses like this.
Got it. They don't come along very often.
They don't. I mean, 2 years in a row, we've done that. So.
Totally agree. You're watching Spartan Nation TV. Let's hope I'm wrong on my prediction, and it's a blowout. For me, Tico and TJ, we'll see you next Saturday.
Give me this. You want to touch it? Touch it. You want to touch it?
Guest of Spartan Nation State Country Inn and Suites. Curtis, you're in.